Hi, I'm attorney John Ceci. I'm an attorney in Brighton, Michigan, and today I'm going to talk to you about appearing in court through the Zoom platform. Now, this is the third of 3 videos I've done on this topic. If you haven't seen the other 2, they're all organized on a playlist on my YouTube channel. So when this one's over, feel free to head over to that channel and check out the other 2. So today we're going to talk about something that you may not think about a whole lot, but it's pretty important when you appear on a video camera, and that is lighting. And it's especially important if you're going to stay at home when you have a Zoom court hearing instead of perhaps going to your attorney's office. As I mentioned in one of my other videos, I always give my clients the option to appear here in my office for a Zoom hearing. And of course, it's a professional office building, so I've got appropriate lighting here that works just fine. But your home is not a video studio. It's not a television studio, so you don't usually think about things like lighting. Still, there are a couple things that you can keep in mind when you're figuring out where you're going to sit for this hearing. And one thing is, if you have a wide open window and that faces where the sun is coming up in the morning and you've got a morning hearing, you might not want to sit with yourself in that window, because with the sun behind you, it's going to be really bright and glaring for people looking at you on the video camera. Alternatively, you also don't want to sit in a room with one dimly lit light bulb on the other side of the room, because you're going to look like you're hiding in the shadows. You just want to find that balance. If at all possible, your home is like most typical homes, you've probably got a kitchen table with a light above it. That probably will serve just fine for most purposes. Now, in the last video, I mentioned that Zoom has an audio and a video tab in its settings. And so this is a great way to use that part of the settings to check out what you're going to look like ahead of time. Grab a seat at whatever table or chair or wherever it is you think you'd like to sit for the hearing. Pull up the Zoom app and take a look at what you look like. Is it too light? Is it too dark? Is there anything you can do about that? If not, maybe there's another room in your house that you could use. If there isn't, well, then the court and the other participants may just have to live with the fact that your lighting isn't as good as it could be, but it's just something worth thinking about before you have the hearing. And if you can deal with it or make it better than what it would otherwise be, you might as well go ahead and do that. I mentioned in the last video using an external microphone and speakers if you can. You can't see it, but right up to the right of me, just a little bit on my desk, about 12 inches away, I've got an external microphone sitting on my desk. I mention that because generally speaking, the closer an external microphone is to you, the better sound you're going to get. Of course, you probably know when a microphone is right up to your body, that usually doesn't work too well because it might rub against your shirt or other things like that. It might pick up movements as you just shift in your chair, the sound of those movements. So you don't want to have it too close. And that's why from what I've read, about 12 inches or so from your body is a pretty good distance. And now the last thing to think about is camera level. And this may be a little bit more challenging because if you're only going to appear on Zoom, I should say, for your one court case, you're not an attorney like me who's going to regularly be appearing in court for Zoom. You might not have some of the equipment I have. For example, the camera that I'm using to make this video is on a tripod, and I've got that set basically at eye level. That's really where you want to be, is to have your camera at about eye level. Now, with your typical laptop, the camera is usually at the top of the screen, but when you have it sitting on a surface like a desk or a table that's in front of you, well, you're actually sitting up above it. And so you need to raise that laptop up a little bit and get it up off the surface so that you can have an eye level view. Now, this can be a little trickier if you're just using your cell phone, because cell phones generally, you have to hold them in your hand. If you happen to have something like this, a little cell phone stand, could very easily be put on a stack of books and raised up to a certain level and will work out really well. But the gist of it is, if you've got a laptop, try to get that raised up enough so that the camera's at eye level. And if you're using a PC that has a detached webcam like I'm doing, find a way to get your webcam up to at least eye level or looking down. And so there's a few more things to think about, and that's going to be the end of this particular video series, although there'll be a number of other videos on this channel. My name, as I said in the beginning, is John Ceci, and I'm an attorney in Brighton, Michigan. Now, people don't usually come to me for technology advice. They usually come to me for legal advice. They've got a legal problem and they're looking for a solution. And one of the areas where I help people out is where they feel like they're drowning in debt. They just can't make ends meet and they're really struggling for whatever reason. People who are thinking that maybe bankruptcy is the right solution for me, but they're not really sure. If that's you, pick up your phone and give me a call. I've helped people get through the bankruptcy process for a number of years, and I'd be happy to help you do the same. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care.